comes with the crew, and it comes with fuel and all the bits and pieces attached, and that will come in from a supply platform that we have for available aircraft on a global basis. So if you're in sightseeing in Berlin and you simply want to come home tonight to Edinburgh, then we'll be able to source a jet in Berlin or somewhere close, and that'll bring you back up the road.
Oh, great. And just an interest in the structure of you're a small business, an SME. So what's the rough structure of your business? Do you have small departments? Certain people working in certain things? Is there a lot of people working on?
We have quite a flat structure, and it's a flat structure because we have to assemble and distribute and operate on a lot of information quickly. So it's a structure that we want to flatten to get even faster in terms of its information. So there's the obvious, somebody in finance and people in operations, etc. But it has to be streamed in such a way that everybody has the same capability of looking at the same information, because there might be an inquiry that has to be dealt with in a certain way by a certain time. And I'm quite keen, as the business develops, that we start to get away from emails and actions that are retroactive rather than real time. So that's something that we'll try and develop as we look to designing and implementing the next operational platform. You want to be able to speak in real time in different time zones and have everything, apart from the side that's all confidential, but you want everything accessible.
So all your employees tend to be quite multi-dimensional, and that they can carry out several roles because they share the same passion as you. The business is their passion as well.
Well, I think it's important in business generally that you are able to try and multitask. Not necessarily you're the cleaner as well as the CEO,
yeah.
But I think you've got to be able to cover for any other person in any other department. There is nothing wrong at all with being able to say, I'll get back to you on that, I'll take a message, I'll get someone to call you. As long as it's taken care of, the people who phone our organisation, as many others, expect to get through, to get the call taken, whatever. There has to be a certain element of crossover. And I think it's good to be able to cross over into other jobs as well. I learn, or I try and expand my learning by talking and dealing with people that don't do what I do, but I can find out more about how they operate, particularly media, web, internet. These things are naturally interesting to me, but I can't profess to be an expert in any one of them. But it's a good way to learn,
Definitely. And we just want to ask you, is from the questions we've covered, do you think there's anything we've not, maybe any key questions we've not asked you today about your business? If we missed something vital out that people could benefit from this?
No, not particularly. You've not asked me the right things, which is good, like who be fly, because we can't tell you that.
We didn't want to pry too much into your business,
Yeah.
End up imitating it and
yeah.
become your enemy.
No, not at all. You probably covered it all, I think. Maybe ask me anything you want.
No, certainly, I got a lot out of this today. I think there's a lot of information we can use, and it targets the whole process. It's not just one process. We covered how you started your business. I think your previous ventures were quite tangible to how this business came about.
Yeah, well, the interesting point maybe, and you can maybe edit this in if you think is appropriate, I started by working with my main profession. So I qualified in a profession which I started my first business in, which was fine. So that's, a jump off the pavement and let's see what happens. My second business was not related to the first, and that, rather than jumping off the pavement, is much more of a leap of faith. You're talking about a different industry where you depend on other people, where you're gaining experience and knowledge as you go in real time. That was far more entrepreneurial, I think, than the first company. And I think that reflects your loss of fear. I think that reflects your experience having been gained, your confidence building up. I think these are the character building aspects of when we're talking about do you have any regrets. If you didn't have loss or problem, you would not be able to experience the benefits of rewards or gain. And people do talk about that, you know, better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all, for example. It's exactly the same principle. You've got to be able to get down there and see the problems and work them through. Yeah, Houston, we will work the problem, etc., and get back there. That's probably the greatest thing in terms of just that small period. I think that's what develops. And that comes back to, you're talking about is there any part of it's genetic? My own view is probably there's that creative streak. I'm going to make music, I'm going to have my own company, I'm going to be an artist, I'm going to be on the stage, all these things. Sooner or later, you know, the bulb goes off and that person goes away and does it.
Well, it seems that we've learned for you today that it's not just one element. There's creativity, leap of faith. You know, you need some know-how and you need to learn it. Constantly learn new things as you go along. So if you can just, you know, it's not about, like you say, being a superstar every day and doing everything is, you know, better than everyone else. It's about juggling many things about and the passion to drive it as well. I
try, and where possible, do something positive in every day. I don't remember to do it every day, I hasten to add, but I try and have something positive coming out every day that I didn't have in the morning I went to work. Even if it's only stopping the car to allow, you know, an old lady across the road or something. If I've done something positive in that day, added value somewhere, that's a good day for me. It doesn't have to be financial. Wealth doesn't have to be about money. And the wealthiest people, I'm sure, it's a combination of how they feel about themselves and family and, you know, financial wealth as well. So I try and do something every day. Sometimes I make £1, sometimes I lose £1. But
so you carry your added value on through your whole life?
Yeah, I think you have to do that because if you don't, you lose sight of everything. I think you lose sight of everything, and what might not be important to you. I mean, if you drive along the road and you stop to let someone cross, maybe that isn't important to you. I don't make any money from that, but it might be very important to that mum who's stood there with her, you know, 2 kids for 5 minutes trying to get across a road that doesn't have a zebra crossing. It's you know, it's different horses on different courses, and I think you have to be mindful of these things.
Yep, I think that could be the quote in the interview. Different horses for different courses. It's definitely got a lot of meaning to it now. Whatever else, I think we've definitely learned a lot, and it was an inspiration to have this hour with you and ask these questions. We look forward to probably adding a lot out and adding a lot in, and you know, I don't think there was any one question we asked that we didn't get something useful from. So
perfect.
Definitely grateful, and I guess we'll say in this video we do wish Cloud9 a lot of future success, and we can tell you're definitely not wishing to give the business up anytime soon. It will be here to stay.
I think I would like to see, I mean, there's no doubt aviation is a difficult market. It's not easy. There will be more changes that will regenerate globally. I think there'll be significant changes to how it operates. I wouldn't like to leave it. I'd like to be in business, you know, a lot longer, across the board. I think this is going to be an exciting time, and there'll be a new generation of entrepreneurs coming through. I mean, we're already seeing people in technology, and you know, there'll be another crew in as well. So when we look at what could happen in media and digital streaming and gaming and online capabilities, it's just phenomenal. Not to mention things like jets and cars and the rest of the business and how we go on holiday and blah, blah, blah. It's endless. So it'll be good. It'll be great.
Brilliant. Any last words there?
I observed that
you might have some more questions.
You show many typical traits of entrepreneurs, like you have sacrificed a lot, you think happy thoughts, you do something positive every day, and that's really a very good thing to know, and we'll try and incorporate such things into our lives as well.
Yeah. I mean, often not on the video, but the one thing I do every day is I stop the car and let someone cross the road. And I've done that for years. It started because I had such a rubbish day that it was the only time that was left. I was on my way home. I thought, I must do something good for someone. And I let some old granny across the road. I think she'd probably have walked in front of the car if I hadn't, I guess. But and I do that every day. I get a lot of people tooting their horns and things like that. And I know it's probably an obsessive compulsive by now. So it's probably a disorder, but it's even in that very selfish way, I can go home and think, maybe I've helped somebody out. I'm sure they never realise it. It's not about that. It's just that doing that one sort of thing, I think. It's funny.
Thanks a lot for the interview.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm very grateful.
We are very grateful and we
That's
learned
fine.
a lot from it. Thanks a lot.
Good.